Today, the legal fraternity turns its attention to advocate Dali Mpofu, who faces a disciplinary hearing before the Legal Practice Council. The prominent advocate faces 7 serious charges arising from various complaints lodged with the LPC. These include allegations of making disparaging as well as sexist remarks during previous hearings, as well as concerns over his conduct during cross-examinations. We do believe, however, that at least 3 of the charges have been withdrawn. Let's unpack this and the significance of this hearing, its implications for the legal profession. We're joined live then by the president of the Black Lawyers Association, that's Nkosana Mvundlela. Baba, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it then. Can we just start perhaps, if you're aware, if you could please share which of the 3 charges, or which are these 3 charges that have actually withdrawn of the 7 that initially were in place?
Good morning, Sam. Good morning to all your viewers. I'm not privy to which of the 3 charges have been withdrawn, because that is not necessarily a public hearing in the strict sense. It's a hearing before the legal committee constituted by the Legal Practice Council. And once the pro forma prosecutor of the Legal Practice Council gets a sense that the evidence that they may use may not actually lead to the conclusions that they seek, then they are at liberty to actually withdraw certain charges. And for those that are remaining, then they are proceeded with in terms of the rules of the Legal Practice Council. It must be borne in mind that the Legal Practice Council receives complaints, takes every complaint as serious, hence it investigates it in terms of its internal processes, and then come to the conclusion that it must be referred. After the investigating committee would have done its job, then it is the investigating committee that then sends that complaint to the disciplinary committee, so that the member must then be held before that disciplinary hearing. When you get there, for all intents and purposes, you will be asked to plead. Once you have pleaded, you would then they would then have to lead evidence. Remember the saying that says you are innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around. So Advocate Dali Mpofu, like everybody else, like every practitioner, appears before this Legal Practice Council as a regulator of the conduct of the lawyers in South Africa, and he has a right to come and rebut any allegation that is made by any witness who comes before the Legal Practice Council.
We do believe, I mean, we've got a statement actually here then from Black Voice, the Black People's Voice actually, and they believe that the 3 charges were withdrawn because Chief Justice Maya and former Public Prosecutor Dali Mpofu have both distanced themselves from the LPC's decision to pursue Advocate Mpofu with disciplinary charges. So to perhaps understand that further, we'll try to get a sense from them as well as when the case proceeds. Baba, if I can just ask you then as well, how serious are these allegations that have been laid against Advocate Dali Mpofu, particularly to him? Is it something that could see him losing his license and his ability to practice law?
2 things. Maybe to comment on your first statement, if those 2 people, Advocate Dali Mpofu and the current CJ, have decided never to participate in those proceedings, then it means the LPC, the DC would not have evidence of those people coming to testify. That's as simple as that. That's why then those charges can be withdrawn. Secondly, whether the charges are too serious to have him lose his license would depend entirely on the evidence that that is going to be led, and what the committee that is sitting as the disciplinary committee would then find as evidence proving them in the first instance. One, if you are alleged of putting the legal profession into disrepute, to the extent that the behavior may be found to have put the legal practice, the profession into disrepute, there could be any sanction. Remember, the sanctions are also listed in terms of the rules, and the committee has got a discretion to apply any of those sanctions. And depending on the evidence that would have been given, anything can happen, and I would not want to preempt what could come out there and also prejudge what is it that the committee itself can come to as a conclusion of a sanction. Remember, once you are found guilty, you mitigate and they aggravate, and out of that mitigation and aggravation, conclusions may be that the proven allegations are too serious.
Sure.
You are a habitual, perhaps a respondent who behaves in a particular manner consistently. Or it may say, yeah, well, you said this in this particular circumstance. It is not something that you can say, and so forth. But the work of lawyers in court cannot be regulated during the proceedings, cannot be regulated in the manner that a member of the public would want to be asked a question in a particular way. So if Advocate Mpofu, at the time of performing his duties, his instructions were that this is how this particular witness is behaving, then charging him may be a question of whether he applied himself under the circumstances, could have advised the client differently in order for him not to go and say whatever he said. But remember, Advocate Dali Mpofu is a creature of instructions. So to the extent that he's given instructions, you cannot expect him to go to court and do what he likes. The assumptions that are here are that Advocate Dali Mpofu was on a frolic of his own, behaving as he wants without client's instruction. And it would not be correct, that assumption, because advocates go to court on the basis of what their client instructs them. And their clients includes the attorneys that are participating in those matters.
Yeah, Baba Mvundlela, we've run out of time, but I wanted to also know whether this was, the impact this could ultimately have on the profession.